Alright folks, welcome back. We have got a new puzzle today. Let's see what rating it is. It's a hard puzzle. Okay, so let's take our time. I notice first the center cube is completely empty. I see the center line. Anywhere there's a line like this, I like to kind of notice, even up here in these center ones, how there's a line. Because you'll see there's some numbers here. So see how there's a line. Now there's already a 5 and a 1 up here. But you see this line here? Okay, and there's a 2 and a 1. So that tells me automatically one of these two has to be a 2. That kind of helps when you're seeing patterns and lines. Let's see what we have. Patterns and lines and pairs. Okay, so I have a set of 2's here that says no 2's here and no 2 here. So that means a 2 has to be here and here. In hards and very hards, folks, there's something called a crisscross pattern. And we just identified one. Okay, so what that tells us is if you're looking at this bottom row, you'll see you can't have a 2 here and you can't have a 2 here because of this 2 and this 2. So that means over here in this far right cube, the 2 has to be in the one of these bottom two. But if there were more of these open, but you can only have a 2 in this one here, the way that they're set up, if they're both in the same row or the same column, there's a crisscross pattern that happens. If this is a 2 on the top, then this has to be a 2 in the middle. But if this is a 2 in the middle, this is a 2 in the top. So no matter which way this crisscross happens, doesn't matter which one of these two is a 2, the opposite here will be a 2. So in this third cube, the top row and the middle row already have a 2 because of this crisscross pattern. So in the hards and the very hards, this crisscross pattern is a newer pattern that I've found recently that is in hards and very hards, and you've got to recognize those, and you can only do that through pencil marks and recognition when you see them lined up in either 2 rows or 2 columns. They don't have to be together. It could be the top and the bottom, top and the bottom. So that way your 2 would have to be in the middle. But that helps us identify where the 2 has to be in the third column. Okay. Just throw that out there. I like to identify those crisscross patterns when we see them. I see a pair of 7's. No 7 on the top, no 7 in the bottom. So that means a 7 has to go here in the middle. Looking for pairs. Pairs. We've got a pair of 9's, top and bottom. So we know that the 9 here has to be in the middle. I'm just kind of looking at these 3 cubes here on the bottom. I think that's all the pairs that I can see. Let's look in these center two. I've got a 4 and a 4. That tells me the 4 has to be on the bottom. And normally I don't like to mark it unless it's 2. But I'm going to go ahead and do that just because I know that's the only row it can be in. Okay, let's look at these top 3. We've got the 1's. I've got 2's, 2 pairs of 2. So no 2 in the top, no 2 in the bottom. So the 2 is going to have to be in the middle. We've got a pair of 9's. So that means here in the center, it's going to be left and right. Okay, I do have a pair of 6's here. I'm going to look in vertically now. So no 6 in the left, no 6 in the right, and I do have a helpful one here. So the only place for a 6 goes here. Now that we have these 6's and 9's, folks, this is what I call a double elimination. See this 6 and 9 and this 6 and 9? These two cannot be anything else. They can't be a 4. They can't be a 7. Even though there's nothing else to eliminate them, this 6 and 9 force it that these two are the only two that can be these numbers. So if this is a 6, that's a 9. If that's a 6, that's a 9. It locks it in. And that helps us. So even though we don't know exactly which one it is, we know that these other 3, 1, 2, 3, we need a 4. Well, we can't have a 4 here, and we can't have a 4 here. So this one has to be the 4. Now see, if we didn't have this double lock on the 6 and 9, those two technically could be 4's. Okay, so that double lock is helping us out even though we don't know exactly which one it is. All right, we've got our 5. One of these two is a 6. We need a 7. So 7 and an 8 can go either one of these two, but that double locks those 2 cells as well, folks. Nothing we can do will change these 2 from being 7's and 8's. Okay, I do notice a pair of 7's. I'm just going to throw this one 7 in here because we were doing the 7's. Okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at these 3 cubes again. We were looking at those. I have a 1 that comes down and I have a 1 that comes across. So you remember that double lock we were just talking about, folks? We have a 2 and a 2 and a 1 and a 1 that double lock these two cells that they can only be a 1 and a 2. So that tells me it cannot be a 7 anymore. If this is a 1, this is a 2. If this is a 2, this is a 1. So this one has to be our 7. We would have never gotten that elimination without this double locking feature. Now we've only got two numbers left, and they are an 8 and a 4. And we do have an 8 here. So there's our 4. And there's our 8. All right. Now we do have a pair of 4s here now. 4 in the left, 4 in the center. So we know a 4 has to go here. We've only got 3 numbers here in this column. Usually when I'm down to 3 numbers, I like to take a moment and look at it a little bit closer. So let's take a look. I also notice this 1 comes down, and this ghost row says you can't have a 1 here either. So now I know the 1 has to be here. So let's look at the center column for a moment, and then we'll come over and look at this right column. We've got a 1, we've got a 2, we need a 3. Okay, well 3 can't be up here, so we know that one of these two is our 3. Okay, ba-doop. I also notice, okay, I'm just looking at the 3s here, and it caught my mind here. This 3 goes across the top, this 3 goes across the bottom, and I do have a 3 here to go across the right. So that is a solid 3 there. Okay, so we've got our 3, we've got a 4, we need a 5. Now a 5 could go at any one of those spots, so let's just ignore that for just a moment. 6, 7, we need an 8. Now an 8 can go in any one of those spots, so we're going to leave that for just a moment. Okay, now let's look at this column here. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 is one of these two, 5, 6. We need a 7. Now 7 can't go here, but it could go the other 3 spots. We're going to leave that for just a moment. We have an 8, and then we need a 9, but this 9 here, guess what, folks? Look at that. We just did another double lock. These two have to be a 1 and a 9. There are no other places to be the 1 and the 9. So guess what that makes this? A 4 and a 7. So guess what that makes this not be? It cannot be a 7 because one of these two has to be a 7, folks. Just because of this double lock feature. Double lock's very, very important. So if one of these two has to be a 7, that makes that one an 8. That makes that one our 7. Let me clean up my pencil marks. Make sure I don't get myself all confused later on. Now that we know that these two are a 4 and a 7, the only number left that we're missing is a 5. And then what were the two numbers we needed here? 3 and an 8. So those are double locked, 3 and an 8. So we would already know from this column that what are we missing? A 5 and a 7. And we don't have anything to help us just yet, so we'll just mark those, 5 and a 7. Okay, so that was handy dandy. We like that. So let's look at this top center cube. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I can't have a 4 across the bottom, so 4 can be one of these 3. 5, we've got the 6 identified. 7 can't be here, so 7 has to be here or here because of this 7 down here. Oh, and look at that, we need an 8, and look at that, our 8 is interlocked. So now we have a double lock, folks, right there with our 8s and our 7s. So the only number that we're missing is a 4, and this is the only place that it can go. Now this is going to help us. This can't be a 4, so that has to be a 7. That has to be a 4. Now that we have this 7, we know this has to be an 8, and that has to be a 7. The only number we're missing here in this row now looks like an 8. Is that right? 8. And now we have a 2 and a 5, and we do have a helpful 5 here. It says can't be 5 there. There's our 5. There's our 2. All right. Okay, so we're going around the circle. Let's look at these 3 cubes here to the right and look for some pairs here. I've got a pair of 9s. No 9 in the left, no 9 in the center. So the 9 has to be in this outer column. All right, 8. No 8 in the left. And I'm kind of looking down here at this bottom cube too. 8 and 8. We've got 3 7s already. We have a pair of 6s down the left, down the right, and across the bottom. So this is actually the only place for a 6, which means this is the only place for an 8. And now that we have this 8 and this 8 in the center cube, we know that one of these two has to be our 8. Okay, Sevens are all done already. Sixes we looked at. Fives, okay, I have a 5 here and a 5 here, which tells me in the center cube my 5 has to go here. We have a 4 and a 4, which tells me that my 4 has to go here. 3, let's see, we have a 3 that goes down. Could be 4 choices over here, but if it goes down here, then 3 has to be this one or this one. We've already got our 2 identified down here. This 2 comes down, this 2 comes across. We still have 3 choices. What about our 1? No 1 there, 1 and 1 there. And this right here, this bottom cube, is normally how it cleans all up. You see how there's just 2 numbers in each cube? That is a nice, clean, fully marked out cube. So now I know this one has to be like a 3 and a 4. We're missing a 2, 3, and a 4, but it can't be a 2. But this one could be a 3 and a 4. And see, now that row is nice and clean. Tells us the numbers that it could be. Okay, all right. Okay, let's look at this center cube. We really haven't gotten a whole lot, but we've actually got some numbers in there now. All right, I got a 1 in the right and the left, so we'll put the 1s down the middle. Okay, we have a 2 down the right and a 2 across the bottom. I'm just going to mark them all. 2, 2, 2, 2. It's going to be messy, and I got to pay close attention. I'm going to booger myself up with my numbers here. Doop, doop, doo. Okay, 3 can't be down the middle. Ugh, ugh. Okay, and then we've got our 4 across the bottom already. We have a 5 in the center and a 5 in the left. So that means our 5 has to be 5, 5, 5 out here somewhere. 6s, we have a 6 across the top and a 6 across the bottom. Oh, hey, look at that. Okay, so I'm looking at these 6s, right? I'm looking down the center row. Can't have a 6 here because of that one. Can't have a 6 here because of that one. And look at this. I can't have a 6 here because of that one. This is the only spot that can be a 6. Cool. And I think that completes all of our 6s on the puzzle. Okay, I just saw something with the 4s. What did I see with the 4s here? I've got a 4 right here. Okay, I saw it down here in this bottom cube here. So this 4 here goes across the top. No 4, no 4. This 4 comes down and says no 4 here. So that means 4 has to be one of these two, right? 4. Okay. So I cannot have a 4 here or here. I cannot have a 4 here, here, or here. And I cannot have a 4 here or here. So actually, that is the only spot left I can have a 4. Let me clean up my pencil marks. Very important. Okay. Okay, so now let me start back over again. Let me just look at my numbers again. So I've got a 1, can't be in the right, can't be in the left. So it has to be in the center. Okay, I've got a 2, and the 2 can't be in the right, and it can't be in the bottom. So it's one of these 3. Okay, now I have to have a 3 somewhere. And a 3, the only blocker I have is the one going down the center. So I've got these outer ones that could all be 3s. Okay. Got my 4. Got a 5 left and center, so my 5 has to be out here. Got my 6. Okay, so I have a 7 left, I have a 7 center, and I have a 7 in the middle. So my 7 has to be out here somewhere. Okay, and then I need an 8, and an 8 can't be in the left or the center. So my 8 has to be out here. Now, I just think I might have pushed the 3 out here because I have a 5, a 7, and an 8 that all have to go out here. That is a triple lock. Look at this left column. 5, 7, and 8. 5, 7, and 8. I have never hit a triple lock before, folks. This is a first. Triple lock. I've been playing for 20 years. I've never seen a triple lock. So I'm going to take the 3 out because those 3 numbers have to be a 5, 7, and 8. No choice whatsoever. Those 3 are now triple locked. That is cool. I don't know why I'm so excited about it, folks, but I am very excited about it. That's awesome. That's cool. Triple lock. 5, 7, and 8. Okay, and then let's look for the 9. And I don't have any help on the 9, but you know what? I could almost quit the game right there, and I'd be just as happy. That is just cool. That is cool. Okay. Okay. Now I got to try to get my brain working again. Okay, so we have some cool things that are now lining up. Remember we did that crisscross pattern down here with the 2s? Now we can do a crisscross pattern here with the 3s. 3s are in the top 2, so that tells me that over here, the 3s have to be down here. Okay. My brain just exploded because I got excited there, so now I'm trying to reel myself back in here. Okay, let's look at this now in this column, because these 3 are now identified for us. We've got a 1, we've got a 2, we need a 3. So a 3 could go here, not here, but it could go here. We need a 4, and we got one of these 2 as a 4. We've got our 5, one of these 3. We need a 6. So 6 could go here, but it could not go here or here, but it could go here. We've got our 7 and our 8 identified, and then we need a 9. And a 9 could go here, not here, but here, and not here. Okay, so that column is fully marked out. Let's now look at this oddball here. I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm going to get confused, or not confused, but stuck. This usually is what happens when I'm playing a hard or very hard. I get some of the basics done, and then I get stuck because there is some kind of a pattern that I'm still not recognizing just yet. So I'm still trying to see some of those patterns. Let me look at this right cube here. I don't want to throw 9s everywhere, but I might have to. Okay, hold on. Let's finish this one. 1, 2, and it can't be a 3, 4, 5. Can it be a 6? Yes, this one could be a 6. No 7, no 8. Could it be a 9? No 9. Okay. So there's a 2 and a 6. Okay. Okay, and this is, see, this is the center one. The 9 is going to throw me off because I need to throw some 9s in there. There we go. Okay, now remember that double lock? This cell can only be a 1 and a 9. So if these 2 are the only 2 that can be a 9 and a 1, those are double locked, which means this can't be a 9. So I need to finish this center right cube here real quick. I have a 1 that goes through the center. So I'm just going to have to mark 1s everywhere. Let me mark my 1s. Okay, no 2 down the right side, no 2 across the bottom. So my 2 could go here, here, or here. My 3's already marked. It's got to be one of these 2, because we have this crisscross elimination for 3's. We have our 4. We have our 5 marked. 6, 7. Okay, we have our 8 marked. Is going to be one of these 2. And then we have our 9 marked. Okay, so every cube is fully marked out, and this is where I have to find a pattern. And this last pattern is usually a rectangle. Okay, actually, this right here is going to help me out. See these two? These 2 still can only be a 1 and a 9, which if this is a 1, this is a 9. If this is a 9, this is a 1. So guess what these 2 cannot be? They cannot be a 1 or a 9. That's the neat feature of this double lock. And you see the 1 and the 9, and the 1 and the 9, 1 and 9, 1 and 9. That's kind of the rectangle pattern that I kind of miss in these hards and very hards. But that has to be a 3. Now I'm going to carefully follow through my patterns here. If that's a 1, that's a 4. If that's a 4, that's a 2. If that's a 2, that's a 3. If that's a 3, that's a 4. If that's a 4, that's a 9. 2, 6, 3. Okay, now if this is a 1, this is a 9. And then of course I'll come over here to this 1. There's a 2. There's our 1. Okay. Okay, now I have a 2 that I put in here. Let me clean up my pencil marks. There we go. All right, now this can't be a 3 anymore, so the only number left there is an 8. Let me clean up my pencil mark. I don't want to confuse myself later. Now if that's my 8, then there's my 2. Okay. All right, okay, now I'm going to look and see if I have any other pencil marks I need to clean up. Okay, we've got this 6 here, so now we can follow it up. There's now our 9, and there's now our 6. Let me clean up my 9 pencil marks. 9 and 9. Okay, now if these are a 2 and a 3 and they can't be anything else, that means this can't be a 2. Plus we have this other 2 here. Okay, so we've got our, see this rectangle, this 1 and 9 and 1 and 9, and see, I'm still a little bit stuck in the rotation of this rectangle. Did we put another? Oh, there we go. This 2 right here is going to help us out. This can't be a 2 anymore, so that has to be our 3. That has to be our 2. Now, if this is our 3, there's our 8. There's our 3. Okay, now if this is an 8, this is now our 5. If that's a 5, there's our 7. If we have a 5 and a 7, then that one's our 8. All right, now we have a 5 here, so there's our 1, there's our 5. This 5 tells us this one is now a 7. This is a 5. Okay, and we already have our 9 here, so this makes this one our 1, makes this one our 9. 1 and 9. All right, folks, so there you have it. Pencil marks, crucial to have a good handle on them with hards and very hards. I'm so excited, folks. This one is the first triple elimination, triple block that I have ever run into in 20 years. Very excited for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle. I always recommend pausing it before we get started, print you off a couple copies, and play along with. Hope you guys have some fun. And please feel free to leave any comments, suggestions, or challenges. I welcome them all. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll catch you next time. Bye.